Hello everyone, this is Endgame Arts with Digital Box, another offline product gamer review. This is Turok 2 Seeds of Evil for the Nintendo Switch. Now this is a limit run physical copy, so getting a copy will not be the easiest. This cartridge version I have here came with the update version 1.6.0b already on the cartridge, but sadly there was an update available. Now, this is, as I said, Turok 2. This is the old classic Nintendo 64 game, as well as a PC game. But this is just a remastered version of the game, and some balances and tweaks is done to the game to make it more ease of life and better of an overall experience. Like, instead of having to play with a Nintendo 64 controller, this game supports both joysticks, so you can use one joystick to move around and the other joystick to look around. Much more comfortable and ease of life of gameplay-wise. As well as I do know that they did balance out some of the weaponry in the game. I don't know truly the differences between the original one and this one, as I only played the original one from my friend's copy way back when he had an N64, and we always played it, and I was never really good at it because I could not control. I never liked the Nintendo 64 controller. So when I finally go ahead and sat down, and I had this copy for a while, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to sit down and relive the memory of us just sitting together trying to play Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. And overall, I was just pleasantly surprised with the game. It's still a phenomenally good game with some good music. Though the audio and dialogue exchange can be a little quiet and a little muffled sounding, it's overall still eerie and mysterious feeling to the game. So I thought that was relatively good. Graphically, the gameplay was pretty good as well. It's overall, I just love the style of older graphics of like the PS1 era and old N64 graphics. But as I've always said, I'm a retro gamer. I just love vintage looking graphics, and I wish more, as indie developers start moving up and up more, don't always have to focus on more fidelity graphics. Sometimes look at the old PS1 graphics and so on. I mean, these graphics have a charm to it. It's not just because people want to say it's limited hardware at this time. There's something charming about these graphics, their own style, and just universe building in their own way, where you have more of your imagination being used. And sometimes that can make a game overall more immersive and overall more impactful of experience. Now, like I said, it's a bread and butter FPS style game, but it does implement some interesting differences between your typical FPS, where you have a lot more limited ammo compared to like if you played like Call of Duty and so on, where you have like only like 20 shells for your shotgun and only like 50 bullets for your pistol. So you will be using quite a bit of your ammo jumping around. But I did notice that some weapons are just largely better than others, and there seems to be some unbalancing in terms of what weapons you should be utilizing the most. And I don't know if that's just due to the Night Dive rebalancing the weapons. Again, I'm not entirely sure if they did rebalance them completely, but I do remember like the shotguns, explosive rounds being excessively powerful and just the main gun you're going to be wanting to use in the game. It's just use explosive rounds with your shotgun. It's just devastating. But as well as it does get a little bit cumbersome, they give you a bunch of weapons in the game. Like you get a normal pistol and you get a 3-round burst pistol. But it's a little annoying because you have to manage between those items from you want to use a basic pistol or the 3-round pistol. As well as that level navigation can sometimes be a little tedious. You could get lost, or if you get to the end of the level and you didn't complete all your missions, you have to go through the entire mission again until you find that last mission you didn't do. But overall, it's a little bit different than what you get from nowadays FPSs. It's more of an adventure and a level design and so on. It's just a lot more interesting. And one of the things that really impressed me is that a lot of people seem to make jokes about games like, let's say, came out nowadays and say it looks like a PS1 game or a PS2 game. And when you see some of the animations and level designs of even Turok 2, it's just really impressive that even some nowadays games, not just in terms of indie, but even AAA stuff, like budget games, that something like Turok 2 has really good animation and some level designs built around it. And a lot of people nowadays don't give credit for how much work was done in the past in terms of the quality that was made in the olden days. They always say since it's old, it's got to be vintage, but trust me, so look at some of the animations in this game, and you'll be really impressed at how much animations the enemies have and so on, and some of the levels layout. Now, there is some levels near the end are a little tedious, like Lair of the Blind Ones. That's just a really frustrating and tedious level design. It's just nothing but empty corridors and just constantly run around, and I got lost and I got stuck and I tried to figure out what I was missing and what I needed to do. It's just some designs aspects that we do have nowadays that makes game design a lot more smoother, but there was a lot of charm of these older games and a lot of people don't give them the credit that they deserve. Overall, I still had a phenomenal time. It was the first time I ever sat down and beat Turok 2 Seeds of Evil fully to beginning to end. I beat it on hard. I might play the PS4 version when that comes out eventually. I know Limit Run's doing a physical copy of that one, and hopefully that's fully up to date, and I'll probably play that on very hard. But overall, it was just a really fun time. I really enjoyed the game through and through. There's something really charming about the Turok games. I covered like the Turok game on PS2, and just these games are really well done for their time, and they're still hold up to this day. And having this newer version with better controls, better layout, the graphics look sharp and nice. It's overall a good game, and just the environment, the gameplay, and the music. It's just overall I had a good time with this game, and I'm really proud to have it on my shelf. I did cheat a little bit. I do have the first one as well. I don't know. I just wanted to jump to the second one. I'll play the first one here soon. Probably in a little bit if I feel like it. I just got done beating an FPS. I don't know if I'll jump to something different, but overall, I think this game is well worth your time to have in your collection if you can get it. It's still a phenomenal game. It's still a good enjoyment. And just there's some things about these older games that are just not a nowadays games don't touch. And maybe I'm just being nostalgic. I try not to let nostalgic blind me, as some people tend to do, but there's just, if you really play it, it really shows the quality and attentions that these older games have put into it. Not to say nowadays games don't put quality attention, but I think a lot of people don't give a lot of credit when they say, it looks like an old PS1 or PS2 game. If it looks like an old PS1, PS2 game, then there might be good signs that might mean it's a good game. Not all the time, but I understand when people say like it's a $60 or $70 game and it looks like a PS1, PS2 game. Then I get it. But the quality, that can vary in terms of the overall experience, level design, music, story, gameplay. All these things can vary greatly. It doesn't matter what the game looks like. But overall, I do recommend it. Sadly, it is a limited run physical copy, so it's going to be quite expensive. I don't know what it's going for right now on eBay. I just finally sat down to play it. I've had this copies for a long time, and I finally sat down and played it. So I do recommend it. There will be eventually a PS4 version coming down the road. It will have Turok 1 and 2, and hopefully, I don't know if there's Turok 3. I don't know if that was just strictly a multiplayer game. I can't quite remember. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. But on that note, I do know that a lot of people say that Resident Evil 2 is the best example of what a sequel is, and Turok 2 is actually a pretty darn good sequel compared to the first one. I have played a little bit of the first one, and the second one really cranks it to 11 compared to the original game. So check out Turok 2. I really do. If you can go maybe get it on PC if you want to experiment with it in case before you spend buku bucks to get a physical copy. But overall, it's a good game to have on your Switch. The only downsides I found on playing on the Switch, I noticed some frame rate drops here and there. Nothing that turned the game into a slideshow, but I did notice some minor frame rate drops in certain moments of the game. Not game breaking or game issue wise, but a game like this should not be having those kind of issues on Nintendo Switch. So thank you all for watching. I'll try to leave links down in the description if you're interested in a copy. I recommend looking into it as long as you're not they're not charging ridiculous amounts of money for it. But if you're willing to get it, I do recommend it as a great little collectible in your game. As well as that, I think you can really enjoy even if you've never played this game or have any interest. I think you'll enjoy the old-fashioned FPS style game. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye!